G'day everybody, thanks for joining me, and this is my second ever YouTube video on painting with acrylics on canvas. And the title here is The Red Girl, and it's an acrylic on canvas which was 600 by 450 millimeters, or in the old school 2 foot by 1.5 feet. As you can see here, I'm doing a grid pattern. I don't usually do grid patterns, but I actually found it a great help with this particular painting. This is one of a series of 4 paintings where I've used this African theme. Quite challenging. I did 2 up in Sydney. I now live here in Tasmania. I did 2 up in Sydney, and which I've both sold both of, and quite happy with that. But the Maasai Warrior and the Dreadlock Girl, I drew freehand, but what I find is you get a little bit more accuracy with drawing up grids, and you don't tend to have to come back and double check your measurements. So once I got that sketch down, you can see that I'm just layering in some background colour. It helps to frame the painting, the face a little bit, so you can balance out the shading in the facial colours. And once I found the shade that I wanted, I then put down, well, I originally put down the darker shades through the face, as you could see through the bottom of the cheeks and the top of the forehead, around the neck. Once I got that colour down, I'm using a broad brush to block in the colour. And once I got some colour down, I just put some outlines, you can see around the eyes, and I just positioning everything, make sure everything's in the right place. Then you can, if you like, you can just double check some of the measurements as you're going along. So yeah, I did 4. This is the 4th of the paintings. The Maasai Warrior, the Dreadlock Girl, the Pink Girl, and the Red Girl. Well, I sold the first 2 in Sydney, and I now got the Pink and the Red Girl down here, which I incidentally just today sent down to my local framer to frame up for me. So it should look good once they're framed, and they're for sale as well. So if you're interested, let me know. Just drop me a line on my website, which is www.sestinoartwork.com. So looking at the painting, I've gone from the darker shades. I've been adding and using that as a foundation. Of course, you can then go into the mid-tones and start filling in the colour. You can see right here, I've got the iPad up on top of the screen, on top of the tripod. I use that as my reference point. The good thing with that, of course, is that you can enlarge areas on the photo and zoom right in where you need a little bit of extra detail if you wish, depending on what type of painting you're doing. I'm sort of a mid-range. I like it to look realistic in a way, but I'm not what you call a super realistic painter. But I don't know, maybe I'm trying to get to that. But as a self-taught artist, I never went to art school or anything. It's just a natural talent, and I've forever been grateful for it. I'm not that young anymore, so sometimes I wish I may have kept on going with it when I was younger. I could always draw, but never really pursued it at a young age, as your career takes different roads. I'm also a personal trainer and fitness instructor, so that's gone from being in the graphic arts industry, where I spent a lot of my working life. But I've got a bit more time on my hands now, and that's why I moved down to Tasmania for a bit of inspiration. And hopefully I'm going to start putting out a lot of paintings and get them on YouTube, so that way people can have a look at my style. I love looking at how other people create things, other artists create paintings as well. So I just thought I'd get on here. So with these sorts of portraits, you've just constantly got to keep going on, layering down. You can see now I'm just working on the lips, and now I'm getting the red down. But even with once you start getting the red down, i.e. that's why she's called the red girl, you've got to then start thinking about where you're going with, and where, in this instance, there's a lot of red clothing on her, so that red needs to now reflect off her skin as well. So it got to the point where once I got that red down in her top, and then of course on the sash and in her earrings, I then I've got to put the red into her necklace, her beads as well. So what happens is when you've got all that red down, it actually reflects up into her skin. So I had to start putting the red up into her skin tones as well. That's what changed the painting. But before I did that, I found I wasn't really happy, and as I was saying, I was putting a lot of layers down, and I got to the point where I had to go even darker with her skin shade. But then once I went darker, I was then putting the red in her shades as well. I'm gone back indoors here. I was outside there for a while, but this is where I worked on the necklace, and then I found that looking at the reference point more carefully, I did find that there was a lot of reflective red in her skin. So I started to put the red firstly in her neck, then up into her chin. And what I found what happened here was as the day got on, I think I was working on this into the evening. I started getting a little bit too carried away with the red, and you can see me dabbing away, and the brush has got a fair bit of red in it, and I was actually putting that red into her mid to highlights, and it wasn't until the next day that I realised that there was too much red in her. You see now in the red in the neck, from here or from the camera, it doesn't look too bad. You can see that red is being reflected off her necklace or her top. But the next day when I came back, her face was too red. I go, oh gosh, I better start making adjustments here. So what you find is when I did go back into it, I had to turn it down again. I still kept that red in there, but it had to be toned down a little bit. And this is the next day. Looking at it there, it looks quite good. You see the red's gone out of it because I actually did go over it a fair bit. But you can see I'm working on her left shoulder there, just around the clavicle or collarbone, and you can see, you've got to incorporate the same colour from her face down into her body, otherwise it just looks a bit mumbo jumbo if the skin colour or from the top of her body is different to her face. But as it was getting into the evening, I had to rely on the evening light, and then I could work on her dress. Anyway, this is the next day, and I was about to sign off on this. What I'm doing here is just laying down some satin varnish on her face, or actually on all her body as well as her head. And I left the background as a matte colour in order to make her stand out a lot more, so that it's not gloss, but it is matte. And I was reasonably happy with the painting overall. So that's about it. I signed off on it, and there you go, my red lady. I hope you enjoyed this little presentation. Please subscribe to my channel, and please get on my website. I've got a whole lot of photographs on that website as well to have a look at, as well as paintings and drawings. Bye for now.